Hello children, welcome to this session, and in this session today we are going to start class 7 supplementary reader textbook and alien hand and lesson number 2 bringing up Kari by Dhan Gopal Mukherjee. Before moving towards the lesson, first let's see the introduction of the writer Dhan Gopal Mukherjee, who was born on 6 July 1890 in West Bengal and died on 14 July 1936 in New Milford. And the awards which he won: John Newbery Medal and his education, that is University of California. And the special thing about Dhan Gopal Mukherjee was that he was the first successful Indian man of letters in the United States and won a Newbery Medal in 1928. These are some of his famous books. The first, Kari, the Elephant, which we are going to learn, that was published in 1922. Then in 1927, Gay Neck. 1923, Caste and Outcast. In 1924, Hari. Then 1928, A Son of Mother India. 1916, Rajani, Songs of the Night. 1917, Sandhya. 1916, Laila Majnun. So these are some of his famous works. Let us read page number 7, lesson number 2, bringing up Kari. Kari, the elephant, was 5 months old when he was given to me to take care of. I was 9 years old and I could reach his back if I stood on tiptoe. He seemed to remain that high for nearly 2 years. We grew together. That is probably why I never found out just how tall he was. He lived in a pavilion under a thatched roof which rested on thick tree stumps so that it could not fall in when Kari bumped against the poles as he moved about. One of the first things Kari did was to save the life of a boy. Kari did not eat much, but he nevertheless needed 40 pounds of twigs a day to chew and play with. Every day I used to take him to the river in the morning for his bath. He would lie down on the sandbank while I rubbed him with the clean sand of the river for an hour. After that he would lie in the water for a long time. On coming out, his skin would be shining like ebony and he would squeal with pleasure as I rubbed water down his back. Then I would take him by the ear, because that is the easiest way to lead an elephant, and leave him on the edge of the jungle while I went into the forest to get some luscious twigs for his dinner. One has to have a very sharp hatchet to cut down these twigs. It takes half an hour to sharpen the hatchet, because if a twig is mutilated, an elephant will not touch it. It was not an easy job to get twigs and saplings for Kari. I had to climb all kinds of trees to get the most delicate and tender twigs, as he was very fond of the young branches of the banyan tree, which grow like a cathedral of leaves and branches. I was gathering some one spring day in March when I suddenly heard Kari calling to me in the distance. As he was still very young, the call was more like that of a baby than an elephant. I thought somebody was hurting him, so I came down from my tree and ran very fast to the edge of the forest where I had left him, but he was not there. I looked all over, but I could not find him. I went near the edge of the water and I saw a black something struggling above its surface. Then it rose higher and it was the trunk of my elephant. I thought he was drowning. I was helpless because I could not jump into the water and save the 400 pounds of him, since he was much higher than I. But I saw his back rise above the water, and the moment he caught my eye, he began to trumpet and struggle up the shore. Then, still trumpeting, he pushed me into the water, and as I fell into the stream, I saw a boy lying flat on the bottom of the river. He had not altogether touched bottom, but was somewhat afloat. I came to the surface of the water to take my breath, and there Kari was standing, his feet planted in the sandbank and his trunk stretched out like a hand waiting for mine. I dived down again and pulled the body of the drowning boy to the surface, but not being a good swimmer, I could not swim ashore, and the slow current was already dragging me down. Seeing us drift by in the current, Kari, who was usually slow and ponderous, suddenly darted down like a hawk and came halfway into the water, where I saw him stretch out his trunk again. I raised up my hand to catch it, and it slipped. I found myself going under the water again, but this time I found that the water was not very deep. So I sank to the bottom of the river and doubled my feet under me, and then suddenly kicked the river bed and so shot upwards like an arrow, in spite of the fact that I was holding the drowning boy with my hand. As my body rose above the water, I felt a lasso around my neck. This frightened me. I thought some water animal was going to swallow me. I heard Curry squealing, and I knew it was his trunk about my neck. He pulled us both ashore. This was the first part of the story, and the new words of part 1 are as followed. Number 1. Mahot, that is a person who keeps the elephant, probably, likely, or possibly. Pound, unit of mass equal to 453.6 grams. Twigs, small thin branch of a tree. Sandbag, a ridge of sand along the shore. Squeal, high pitched sound, cry or trumpet. Fringe, border. Sapling, a young tree or plant. Luscious, tasty and sweet smelling. Mutilated, torn awkwardly. Hatchet, small axe. Struggle, to strive. Ponderous, slow and clumsy because of great weight. So these are the new words of part 1. These are the key points of the first part, where we are going to learn the first thing, that is Kari, a 5-month-old baby elephant, lives and grows up with his 9-year-old friend and keeper. Kari doesn't eat much, just about 16 kilograms of delicious twigs a day. Playful and sensitive, Kari saves a boy from drowning. So these 3 important things we are going to learn in the first part of the lesson. In the first part, we are going to learn that Kari was an elephant and he was 5 months old when he came to the author. Kari lived in a pavilion. It was under a thatch roof which rested on thick tree stumps. Now why it is the trees are used? Because when